I want to do a little bit of a follow-up story regarding Gonzalo Lira. I said he was in the northeastern city of Kharkov. This was a pro-Russian city that has, over the last 8 years, been terrorized into silencing any sort of pro-Russian sentiment. And I want to show you that that is not me saying that. That is the Western media saying that, but not saying it directly. And this is part of what the Western media has done to allow this problem to grow and expand and to consume human lives by covering it up instead of speaking out against it, standing up to it. I want to show you first, I want to show you this NPR article. And by the time you get to the end of this video, you will understand just how deliberately despicable these people are. NPR, right here. This was from January 13th, 2022. This was before Russia began in Ukraine. The view from border city Kharkov. They're calling it Kharkiv. I'm calling it Kharkov. Ukraine, as Russian troops appear ready to invade. So this is an interview between these two NPR so-called journalists. So this article is about the atmosphere in Kharkov before Russia entered into Ukraine. And they're trying to say that, you know, everyone here in this previously pro-Russian city, now they're all pro-Ukrainians. Let's take a look at a few quotes from this article. It says, "They've gone out of their way to show that Russian troops would not be welcomed. You know, I came here expecting to find pro-Russian sentiment in the East, and I haven't seen that at all, Ari. To the contrary, there are Ukrainian flags everywhere. And in front of the town hall and the Christmas market, there's a big exhibit about Russian aggression. There's like pictures showing Putin with a Hitler mustache and signs talking about boycotting Russian products. And people here even tell me that they're making an effort now to speak Ukrainian, whereas before everyone mostly always spoke Russian. That is not something that people are going to do, even if they are pro-Kiev. They're Russian speakers, but pro-Kiev. That is not something they're going to do on their own, just because it's so difficult to do it. But this is the narrative that NPR is crafting to explain why this city is no longer pro-Russian. I will explain the real reason why they don't seem to be pro-Russian. That is fascinating, Eleanor. You and I were both in Eastern Ukraine in 2014 when people predominantly spoke Russian. There was a lot of pro-Russian sentiment. Tell us about this difference that you're observing. Yes, Ari, you know, when we were in Donetsk in the beginning of the uprising, which is now under separatist control, there was a lot of excitement there. Maybe Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city, would come over to the Russian separatist side, but that didn't happen at all. And now the people have been watching the miserable, chaotic situation of the two so-called People's Republics of Donetsk and Luhansk for the last 8 years, and they want no part of it. NPR is acting like Kharkov. Just over the last 8 years, it just, oh, we were pro-Russian, we are Russian, we speak Russian, but we're not going to do that anymore. On our own free will, we're going to decide that because Ukraine, the government in Kiev, has really convinced us that they're the good guys, not Russia. And it has absolutely nothing to do with Nazis terrorizing anyone who is pro-Russian, and the fact that areas that are openly pro-Russian are being shelled and have been shelled for the last 8 years, killing thousands of people. Has absolutely nothing to do with that. I want to show you this other article. This is from much more recently. And this is the Western media trying to sweep Nazism in Ukraine under the rug. Let's check out this article from the Financial Times. Don't confuse patriotism and Nazism. Ukraine's Azov forces face scrutiny. Nationalist regiment with neo-Nazi roots has been instrumental in the resistance to Russia's invasion. I'm going to say this very plainly. Any nation that needs Nazis incorporated into their national armed forces officially to fight for their survival is a nation that does not deserve to survive. And what is this? What is this picture? Azov Regiment fighters in Kharkiv. The infantry unit was formed in 2014 by volunteers, many with far-right leanings, to fight separatists in eastern Ukraine. Down here it says, having started as a militia of just over 300 troops, there are now scores of thousands. Okay, scores of thousands of Azov fighters, said Berletic, who in 2008 co-founded the Social National Assembly, a grouping of the most extreme nationalist Ukrainian political parties. Most are fighting within Ukraine's territorial defense units, including more than 1,000 in Kharkiv. And let's go over here. Ukraine must stop ongoing abuses and war crimes by pro-Ukrainian volunteer forces. They're talking about IDER, Right Sector, and Azov. So what have they been doing? There have been abductions, unlawful detention, ill treatment, robbery, extortion, and possible executions committed by IDER battalion. And this is what Azov, Right Sector, and all of these other organizations, it says so in Amnesty International's own article there. IDER is just one of 30 so-called volunteer battalions. So that's what they were doing in Kharkov. That's why you don't see any pro-Russian sentiment, because they kidnapped, killed, terrorized the population until they stopped expressing pro-Russian sentiment. That's why there isn't any. That's what they did in Mariupol until Russia came in and exterminated them. Go watch Patrick Lancaster's videos, his interviews with the people of Mariupol, and he shows you everything. He will show you people that he interviews that are not too enthusiastic about either side. But most of the people are thrilled that Russia is there and have finally thrown Azov out of Mariupol. They were terrorizing them for 8 years. They suppressed any sort of freedom of expression at all. This is the democracy that the West claims that they're helping Ukraine fight to defend. And again, these are not Russian sources. This is Amnesty International, Financial Times, and NPR. This is them admitting it, but not directly. And you can see how weaselly Financial Times and NPR were, and even Amnesty International, because that article is from when? It's from all the way back in 2014. You are not going to see Amnesty International today talking about Azov Battalion or Right Sector or IDER. You won't see it. I just thought this was important context to give regarding Gonzalo Lira and the situation in Kharkov, who we are told isn't pro-Russian anymore. It's pro-Russian, but that pro-Russian sentiment has been buried, and it will not emerge until Russians liberate that city. It is currently occupied by literal Nazis, incorporated officially into Ukraine's security services, who, by Amnesty International's own admission, have been terrorizing the population. That's why you don't see pro-Russian sentiment. That's why people are making an effort to speak Ukrainian instead of Russian, because they're afraid that if they speak Russian, they will be abducted or executed or tortured or something else horrible, because you have these Nazis roving these cities, ensuring that no pro-Russian sentiment is expressed. This is what the West is covering up, and this is what Russia is in Ukraine to put a stop to. If you thought this video was useful, please like and share. Think about subscribing. It's free to do. It helps the channel grow. Check the video description below if you're watching this on YouTube. Other places you can find my work in case YouTube deletes my channel. I am on Odyssey. I am on Rumble, and I'm also very active on Telegram. The links are all in the video description. Just click on it, look through it, find the platform you prefer to follow me on other than YouTube. Also in the video description, again, are all of the links to these articles. Please read through them and see for yourself what the Western media itself is admitting under these layers of propaganda that they use to continue promoting the myth that Ukraine is the victim here and that somehow they're the good guys. Also in the video description below are ways you can help support my work. You can do that through Buy Me a Coffee, through Patreon, and through PayPal. That is the reason I'm able to continue doing this work and to do the amount of work. And the frequency of work that I'm doing is the support of my audience. I greatly appreciate that. I also greatly appreciate people who are sharing my work with others. If that's all you're doing is just sharing my work with others or sending news tips or kind words, that is also greatly appreciated. It all helps a lot. I can't even explain to you how helpful it is. So thank you. As always, thank you for watching.